Good evening. This is Andrea Alexander, and I am with Embody and Embody Community. And to myself, I stand with my commitment for inspiration. And the live piece, I'm going to tell you, scares the patootie out of me, and I get so nervous. Anyway, I'm here. And what I'm choosing to speak into is being with ourselves in the moment of feeling. And what we tend to do is make where we are wrong. And that we can't be sad, or we can't be afraid, or we can't be this, we can't be that. And what happens is we create a block, not only in our minds, but we also create, there's my will turning on, a block in our bodies. And when we have the experience of a feeling, whatever we're feeling, and in this case I was feeling fear, what happens is our brain creates a peptide that goes into our immune system. And the hormone that's created in fear is adrenaline and cortisol. And these hormones are life depleting when we spend a lot of time feeling these types of feelings. And because of the amount of stress and pressure that we're under on a regular basis, we spend a lot of our lives in fight or flight. And my experience is I'm following my heart, coaching and being with other women who really mean a lot to me, and supporting women who have experienced trauma, sexual trauma, supporting women who have had health issues and all kinds of other things come up. And so when I learned about the tools of consciousness and playing with speech and patterns and body language and how to be with ourselves and feeling, it completely changed my life. And I recently, I'm going to touch that a little deeper because obviously it was a lot of emotion and I ran. And so it really completely changed my life. I was in a very difficult relationship. I was still processing my way through repressed sexual trauma. I was happier than I had been, and yet knew that there was still something missing. And I dove in, and I just kept staying and playing in the game until I continued to have more and more miracles day in and day out. And one of the things that I heard recently was when we have yet to fully embrace our blessings, our miracles, then what will happen is we will continue to carry the burden with us in our body somewhere, somehow. And so my experience is I left a full-time, very well-paying corporate position to do and follow my heart. And everything in me believes that I am bound in building an empire and that success is my path. And occasionally fear will come up, and the first 90 days was super easy. And the second 90 days, I'm finding a little different. And my fear comes in, and my favorite acronym for fear is false experiences appearing real. And we can typically see constriction and fear, especially in our bank accounts. And And fear is typically fear of failure. And I was doing what I do and being with me, because the tools that I have learned is when we have something that comes up, the only way through is to feel. And so what I said is, hey, fear, come on in. I can love you. I can love you exactly as you are. And I remember you. It's okay. I can love you exactly as you are. And my heart is racing and I feel panic down my arms. And I remembered hearing through another person who does language translations, he does, yo, 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 fear, come on in. It's okay. And this is, I'm like, okay, this is giving me, I'm giving myself the energy and the love to feel what I feel and making what I feel okay, instead of trying to talk myself out of being scared because I know that it's all going to be all right. Beautiful. Does it work? There's no way through in the mental. And so I literally started to do something else for a minute. And I said, whoa, slow down. And it came back to me that I have already done this movement of my fear turns into my faith. And I had the experience of standing strong and following my own instincts, my own gut, and showing up. Old resentment, showing up even when I felt afraid. And so what I'm aware of is what we say is when we're aware of a thing, we have power over a thing, and our subconscious mind will do everything, anything to get you off track and to create a distraction, to shift your energy in a way that is life depleting. And I had the memory. I have already done this. And so I said, I have already done fear into faith. I have already done trusting what I hear in me and showing up even when I still feel afraid. And then I yawned, which is awesome, because our upper jaw is our jaws are about expression, and our upper jaw is thinking, and our lower jaw is feeling. And so we have this. Our brain requires more air, oxygen, because we've touched something, and so this is me waking up fully in my fear to faith movement. And when I walk by faith, I can remember I am enough and that my best is enough. And what so many of us have been programmed to believe is that we are required to do it all, be it all, give it all in order to have anything. And what I've learned is that we can literally take what we're doing and shift it from 190 to 180, and actually just a little bit, and use our energy as a multiplier instead of a force of energy, because we've been trying to push through. And anytime we are forcing something, whether it's forcing to get done, forcing to get here, forcing to go there, we're in fight or flight. We are literally in fear of failure. And so what I heard is, I am enough. My best is enough. The difference between giving my all and being all in me, because I am fully vested in me for my life. I believe in me. And I feel the light and energy of great love and great spirit in me. And I'm so grateful. And I choose to share briefly. We've got a couple of things that are coming down the pipeline. One is Wired for Love. It's a masterclass series that begins the August 25th. And Wired for Love may sound really strange to you. And it's the unraveling relationships. And what we're doing is we are doing a deep dive into how we have love patterned in us. And we will see this not only cancel clear knot through the relationships in our parents and our grandparents. We will see patterns repeating themselves through the ways that we are with children and or other things that we create. And when we have an understanding of how love is wired in us, we can begin to shift and transform the relationships that we currently have. And because we've been playing in that love is a lot of hard work, it requires a lot of this and that, and we're operating in fear, we're overperforming, we're doing it all, we are accepting less than our highest choices in order to keep and stay and hold on to love. And understanding and coming into where you have or how you have love wired, there's no requirement to change relationships or shift any of that. We do all this in us. And what I discovered through this work is that I have love wired as love leaves. My parents were divorced. My grandmother on one side lost her husband, my grandfather at the end of World War II. And then I have another grandmother who lost a son. Love is love, regardless of the relationship. So these patterns go into our own bodies. And as a result, my pattern has been love leaves, love strays, and I've had love die too, in family, in love. And now that I have this information, I can begin to heal and transform and change and repair the patterns in myself for my parents, my grandparents, and for generations that come through. Moving into blessing. I know what to do and I do it. And I receive my blessings through others and with others. And we get to create these massive miracles of love and creating intimacy and dreams and desires in completely new, exciting and exhilarating ways in ourselves, in our partnerships with our beloveds, with our children, our parents, our siblings, and our coworkers. And what's super cool and super tricky about consciousness is the pattern will show up somewhere. You may have done it really well in one relationship, really poorly in one relationship, and really are doing great in another partnership, marriage, and yet there are less than higher choices or less degrees of intimacy in relationships that are still important to you. So I encourage you to jump in, play with us, and if there's anything in the way, we are here to support you. Carrie and I are grateful to have you in community. Thank you.